Question 1. A project manager is leading a complex software development project. During a sprint review, stakeholders express concern that the delivered features, while functional, do not fully align with the expected user experience. The team followed all requirements, but the initial understanding of user-friendly was too abstract. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain should the project manager focus on to address this misalignment and improve future outcomes? A. Planning performance domain. B. Project work performance domain. C. Delivery performance domain. D. Stakeholder performance domain. Answer: C. Delivery performance domain. The delivery performance domain is crucial for ensuring that the project delivers the scope and quality that the project and product teams originally planned, and that the project delivers value to the organization and its stakeholders. The scenario highlights a gap between delivered features and stakeholder expectations regarding user-friendly experience, indicating a need to ensure the project outcomes truly meet the intended value. Focusing on this domain helps the team prioritize activities that lead to valuable outcomes, not just outputs, ensuring future increments align better with user needs. Always remember that delivery is not just about completing tasks, but about achieving the desired value and quality. Question 2. Your Agile team is midway through a sprint, and a key team member unexpectedly announces they are leaving the company in 2 days. This team member holds unique expertise critical to several high-priority stories in the current sprint. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take first, according to Agile principles? A. Reassign all the team members' tasks to other team members to maintain the sprint commitment. B. Immediately escalate the issue to senior management to request a replacement. C. Facilitate a discussion with the team to understand the impact and plan adjustments to the sprint backlog. D. Pause the current sprint and call for an emergency meeting with all stakeholders. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion with the team to understand the impact and plan adjustments to the sprint backlog. In an Agile environment, teams are self-organizing and empowered to manage their work. When a significant change like a team member's departure occurs, the most effective first step is to bring the issue to the team's attention. This allows the team to collectively assess the impact on the current sprint backlog and commitment, and decide on the most viable path forward, such as reprioritizing stories or finding ways to share knowledge. Empowering the team to solve their own challenges fosters autonomy and ensures solutions are practical and embraced. Remember, Agile teams adapt to change collaboratively rather than rigidly adhering to initial plans. Question 3. A project team is struggling with frequent changes to requirements, leading to rework and missed deadlines. The project manager observes that stakeholders often request new features without fully understanding the impact on the project schedule or cost. Which PMBOK 7 principle is being challenged the most in this scenario? A. Leadership principle. B. Value principle. C. System thinking principle. D. Tailoring principle. Answer: C. System thinking principle. The system thinking principle emphasizes viewing the project as a holistic system, understanding how its various components interact and how changes in one part can affect the entire system and its surrounding environment. In this scenario, stakeholders are making isolated requests without considering the ripple effect on the project's schedule and cost, indicating a lack of understanding of the project as a connected system. By fostering a systems thinking approach, the project manager can help stakeholders and the team understand interdependencies and the broader implications of changes, leading to more informed decisions. Think of a project like a delicate ecosystem where every action has an effect, so considering the whole is key. Question 4. During a project, a significant new regulation is introduced that requires a complete redesign of a core product feature to ensure compliance. This change was unforeseen and will impact the project schedule and budget. How should the project manager best address this situation? A. Document the change, notify stakeholders, and implement the redesign immediately to ensure compliance. B. Engage with relevant stakeholders to assess the impact, evaluate options, and update the project management plan accordingly. C. Initiate a new project specifically for the redesign to keep the current project on track. D. Communicate to the regulatory body that the project cannot accommodate the change without significant delays. Answer: B. Engage with relevant stakeholders to assess the impact, evaluate options, and update the project management plan accordingly. When a major unforeseen event like a new regulation impacts a project, the project manager's role is to facilitate a structured response. This involves bringing together the appropriate stakeholders to fully understand the impact on scope, schedule, budget, and quality, and then collaboratively developing and evaluating potential solutions. Once a solution is agreed upon, the project management plan and relevant baselines must be updated to reflect the new direction, ensuring everyone is aligned. Always approach significant changes with a collaborative, methodical assessment to ensure the best path forward. Question 5. A project team is composed of members from different cultural backgrounds, and communication breakdowns are frequently occurring due to misunderstandings and differing communication styles. The project manager wants to foster a more cohesive and effective working environment. Which PMBOK 7 principle should the project manager emphasize? A. Adaptability and resiliency principle. B. Quality principle. C. Team principle. D. Risk principle. Answer: C. Team principle. The team principle focuses on creating a collaborative project team environment that fosters shared understanding, mutual respect, and effective communication among all team members. In this scenario, the communication breakdowns due to cultural differences directly impact the team's ability to work together effectively. By emphasizing this principle, the project manager would work to establish norms, promote open dialogue, and help the team navigate these differences to build a stronger, more unified unit. Building a strong team culture is paramount for project success, so invest in understanding and leveraging team diversity. Question 6. A project manager is leading a project that needs to quickly adapt to market changes and frequently incorporate customer feedback. The project has a clear vision but evolving requirements. Which development approach would be most suitable for this project? A. Predictive, waterfall. B. Iterative. C. Incremental. D. Hybrid. Answer: D. Hybrid. A hybrid approach combines elements of both predictive, waterfall, and adaptive, agile, iterative, incremental, methodologies, allowing for flexibility where needed while maintaining a structured approach for other parts. The scenario describes a project with a clear vision but evolving requirements and a need for quick adaptation and frequent customer feedback, which leans towards agile. However, it doesn't preclude some upfront planning for certain stable elements. A hybrid approach provides the best of both worlds, enabling the project to benefit from adaptability in areas of uncertainty while maintaining control over more stable components. Choose the approach that best fits the specific needs of the project and its environment, rather than forcing one methodology. Question 7. Your project has successfully delivered its main product. However, during the post-implementation review, it's discovered that the operational team is struggling with the new system's complexity and high maintenance requirements, leading to increased long-term costs for the organization. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain was likely not sufficiently addressed during the project lifecycle? A. Stakeholder performance domain. B. Measurement performance domain. C. Delivery performance domain. D. Project work performance domain. Answer: C. Delivery performance domain. The delivery performance domain is concerned with ensuring that the project delivers the scope and quality that the project and product teams originally planned, and that the project delivers value to the organization and its stakeholders. The scenario indicates that while the product was delivered, it created a burden for the operational team and increased long-term costs, implying a failure to deliver true long-term value or a lack of consideration for the product's operational phase. Proper focus on this domain ensures that the delivered outcome is not only functional but also sustainable and valuable over its lifespan. Delivering value means considering the entire lifecycle of the product, not just its initial release. Question 8. A project manager is reviewing the project's financial performance and notices that actual costs are significantly higher than planned for a specific work package, despite the work being completed on time. Which PMBOK 7 measurement metric would be most relevant for the project manager to investigate this variance? A. Schedule variance, SV. B. Cost variance, CV. C. Estimate at completion, EAC. D. To complete performance index, TCPI. Answer: B. Cost variance, CV. Cost variance, CV, is a key earned value management, EVM, metric that indicates whether the actual cost of work performed is greater or less than the budgeted cost. A positive CV means the project is under budget, while a negative CV indicates it is over budget. In this scenario, actual costs are higher than planned, directly pointing to a negative cost variance that needs investigation to understand why the spending exceeded the budget. Understanding cost variance helps you identify financial issues early, so keep a close eye on your budget against actual expenditures. Question 9. During a daily stand-up, a team member expresses concern about a technical dependency that could delay a critical feature. The project manager acknowledges the concern and decides to take an immediate action to address it. Which PMBOK 7 principle is the project manager demonstrating by proactively addressing this potential issue? A. Value principle. B. Complexity principle. C. Risk principle. D. Stewardship principle. Answer: C. Risk principle. The risk principle emphasizes identifying, analyzing, and responding to project uncertainties throughout the project lifecycle to minimize negative impacts and maximize opportunities. The team member's concern about a technical dependency that could cause delay is a clear identification of a potential threat or risk. By proactively addressing it, the project manager is demonstrating adherence to this principle, ensuring that potential issues are managed before they become actual problems. Always be vigilant for potential risks and act quickly to mitigate them, as early intervention can save a project. Question 10. A project manager has just taken over a troubled project. The project scope is ill-defined, stakeholders are constantly disagreeing on priorities, and the team morale is low due to frequent changes and unclear direction. What is the most important initial step the project manager should take to bring the project back on track? A. Create a detailed project schedule with firm deadlines. B. Re-baseline the project budget based on current spending. C. Facilitate a collaborative session with key stakeholders to clarify scope and priorities. D. Hire additional team members to accelerate progress. Answer: C. Facilitate a collaborative session with key stakeholders to clarify scope and priorities. The core issues described are ill-defined scope, stakeholder disagreement, and unclear direction. These are fundamental problems that cannot be solved by simply adjusting schedule or budget, or adding resources. The most effective initial step is to engage key stakeholders collaboratively to gain clarity and consensus on what the project is truly meant to deliver and what its priorities are. This aligns with the stakeholder performance domain and the value principle, ensuring that the project focuses on delivering what matters most to its stakeholders. Always address the root cause of project issues, and often that involves clarifying foundational elements with your stakeholders. Question 11. The project sponsor has requested a new feature that was not part of the originally approved scope. This feature would provide significant competitive advantage but would also delay the project by 2 months and increase costs by 15%. What is the project manager's primary responsibility in this situation? A. Reject the request as it deviates from the approved baseline. B. Immediately incorporate the feature into the project plan, given its competitive advantage. C. Conduct a formal change request process, including analysis of impact and presentation to the Change Control Board or relevant authority for decision. D. Add the feature to a backlog for a potential future phase of the project. Answer. C. Conduct a formal change request process, including analysis of impact and presentation to the Change Control Board or relevant authority for decision. Project scope changes, especially those with significant impact on schedule and budget, must be managed through a formal change control process. The project manager's responsibility is to analyze the proposed change's impact, document it, and present it to the appropriate authority, e.g., Change Control Board or sponsor, for a decision. This ensures that changes are deliberated, approved, and their impacts understood before implementation, maintaining project integrity and control. Always follow your project's change control process. It's there to protect the project from uncontrolled scope creep and ensure informed decisions. Question 12. A project team is consistently delivering working software every 2 weeks. However, the business stakeholders feel that some of the delivered features are not truly meeting their immediate needs, and they desire more direct input earlier in the development cycle. Which PMBOK 7 concept or practice would best address this gap? A. Earned value management. B. Risk management planning. C. Regular stakeholder engagement and feedback loops. D. Detailed predictive scheduling. Answer. C. Regular stakeholder engagement and feedback loops. The scenario indicates a disconnect between what the team is delivering and what the business stakeholders truly need, despite consistent delivery. This points to a need for more effective collaboration and communication with stakeholders, particularly in gathering and incorporating their feedback throughout the development cycle. Regular stakeholder engagement and feedback loops, such as sprint reviews or frequent demonstrations, ensure that the project remains aligned with evolving business needs and that value is truly delivered. Actively involve your stakeholders in the project's journey to ensure what you build is what they actually need. Question 13. Your project is in its execution phase, and you discover that a critical component supplied by a vendor has quality defects that will prevent it from meeting specifications. This was not identified during initial quality checks. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take first? A. Replace the vendor immediately and find a new supplier. B. Document the defect and prepare a report for the project sponsor. C. Notify the vendor of the defect and request a resolution, while simultaneously assessing the impact on the project. D. Initiate a formal claim against the vendor for breach of contract. Answer. C. Notify the vendor of the defect and request a resolution, while simultaneously assessing the impact on the project. When a critical defect is discovered, the project manager's immediate priority is to address the issue directly with the responsible party, the vendor, to seek a resolution, while simultaneously understanding the implications for the project's schedule, cost, and quality. This proactive approach aims to mitigate the problem as quickly as possible and gather necessary information for decision-making. Jumping to extreme measures like replacing the vendor or initiating a claim immediately might be premature and could further delay the project. Always communicate and assess before making drastic decisions. Question 14. A project manager is leading a research and development project where the final product specifications are highly uncertain and likely to change as new discoveries are made. The team needs to experiment and learn frequently. Which PMBOK 7 life cycle approach would be most appropriate for this project? A. Predictive. B. Iterative. C. Incremental. D. Agile. Answer. D. Agile. An agile life cycle is best suited for projects with high uncertainty, evolving requirements, and a need for rapid feedback and adaptation. The scenario describes a research and development project where specifications are uncertain, and frequent experimentation and learning are required. Agile methodologies, with their focus on short iterations, continuous feedback, and flexibility, enable teams to navigate such environments effectively. When dealing with high uncertainty and the need for continuous learning, an agile approach provides the necessary flexibility. Question 15. A project manager has just completed the initial project charter and identified key stakeholders. The next step is to understand their needs, expectations, and potential influence on the project. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain is the project manager currently focusing on? A. Planning performance domain. B. Project work performance domain. C. Delivery performance domain. D. Stakeholder performance domain. Answer: D. Stakeholder performance domain. The stakeholder performance domain involves activities and functions associated with stakeholders. It focuses on identifying stakeholders, understanding their interests and influence, planning how to engage them, and communicating and working with them throughout the project. After creating the charter and identifying stakeholders, the logical next step is to analyze and engage them effectively, which directly falls under this domain. Proactive stakeholder engagement is critical for project success, as it ensures that their needs are understood and managed from the outset. Question 16. During a project retrospective, the team identifies that communication between the development team and the quality assurance (QA) team has been a recurring source of delays and misunderstandings. What would be the most effective action for the project manager to recommend to improve this situation? A. Implement a stricter communication protocol and enforce its adherence. B. Schedule regular joint meetings or workshops between development and QA teams. C. Assign a dedicated communication lead to mediate between the two teams. D. Require all communications to be documented and approved by the project manager. Answer: B. Schedule regular joint meetings or workshops between development and QA teams. The root cause of the issue is communication breakdowns and misunderstandings. The most effective way to improve this is to create direct, structured opportunities for the teams to interact, share information, and resolve issues collaboratively. Regular joint meetings or workshops foster direct communication, build rapport, and allow for immediate clarification, addressing the core problem more effectively than strict protocols or mediation. Fostering direct and frequent communication channels between interdependent teams is key to preventing silos and improving collaboration. Question 17. A new team member has joined an existing Agile project. The team operates with a high degree of self-organization, and the new member seems overwhelmed by the lack of explicit instructions and traditional hierarchical guidance. How should the project manager best support this new team member? A. Assign the team member a mentor from the existing team to guide them. B. Provide a detailed list of tasks and responsibilities for the team member. C. Encourage the team member to participate actively in all team ceremonies and observe how the team functions. D. Remind the team member that Agile teams are self-organizing and they need to adapt independently. Answer: A. Assign the team member a mentor from the existing team to guide them. While Agile teams are self-organizing, integrating new members requires support. Providing a mentor from within the team is an excellent way to help the new member understand the team's dynamics, processes, cultural norms, and unspoken rules. This direct, peer-to-peer guidance is more effective than just observing or giving a list of tasks, as it helps the new member assimilate into the self-organizing structure gradually and effectively. Supporting new team members with mentorship ensures they quickly become productive and integrated contributors. Question 18. A project manager is faced with escalating scope creep from multiple stakeholders, despite having a clearly defined project charter. The project is falling behind schedule. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most challenged, and what is the best immediate action? A. Complexity principle, increase team size. B. Value principle, negotiate with stakeholders to cut non-essential features. C. Stewardship principle, re-emphasize the agreed-upon scope and initiate formal change control. D. Adaptability and resiliency principle, implement an Agile approach immediately. Answer: C. Stewardship principle, re-emphasize the agreed-upon scope and initiate formal change control. The stewardship principle requires project managers to act responsibly and ethically with the resources and trust provided to them, including managing the project's scope effectively. When scope creep occurs, the project manager, as a steward, must protect the project's integrity by re-emphasizing the agreed-upon scope and ensuring that any requested changes go through a formal change control process. This ensures that all changes are properly evaluated, approved, and accounted for, preventing uncontrolled deviations. Being a good steward means protecting the project from uncontrolled changes by adhering to established processes. Question 19. A critical path activity is experiencing a delay due to an unforeseen technical issue. The project manager needs to assess the impact on the overall project completion date quickly. Which PMBOK 7 artifact would provide the most direct information for this assessment? A. Stakeholder register. B. Risk register. C. Project schedule network diagram. D. Work breakdown structure, WBS. Answer: C. Project schedule network diagram. A project schedule network diagram visually represents the logical relationships and dependencies between project activities, allowing the project manager to identify the critical path, the longest sequence of activities that determines the shortest possible project duration. When a critical path activity is delayed, referring to this diagram instantly shows the direct impact on the project's overall completion date because any delay on the critical path directly delays the project. For quick impact analysis on project timelines, the schedule network diagram is your go-to tool. Question 20. Your project is experiencing frequent technical issues and defects that are only discovered late in the development cycle, leading to costly rework. The team is skilled, but there's a lack of formal process for quality assurance. Which PMBOK 7 principle should the project manager focus on to mitigate this issue? A. Team principle. B. Quality principle. C. Planning principle. D. Uncertainty principle. Answer: B. Quality principle. The quality principle focuses on ensuring that project deliverables meet the needs and expectations of stakeholders and conform to required specifications. The scenario describes a situation where defects are found late, causing costly rework, which is a clear indication of insufficient quality management practices. By emphasizing this principle, the project manager would implement or improve quality assurance and control processes to identify and resolve issues earlier, reducing rework and improving product quality. Proactive quality management is always more cost-effective than reactive defect fixing. Question 21. A project manager is leading a large, geographically dispersed team. Some team members feel isolated and report difficulties in collaborating effectively across time zones. What would be the best approach for the project manager to improve team cohesion and communication? A. Implement stricter reporting requirements to ensure all team members provide updates. B. Schedule mandatory daily video conferences for all team members, regardless of time zone. C. Facilitate the adoption of collaborative tools and establish communication norms that accommodate time differences. D. Encourage individual problem solving to reduce reliance on constant communication. Answer: C. Facilitate the adoption of collaborative tools and establish communication norms that accommodate time differences. For geographically dispersed teams, effective collaboration relies heavily on appropriate technology and agreed-upon communication strategies. Implementing collaborative tools, e.g., shared documents, instant messaging, virtual whiteboards, coupled with clear communication norms, e.g., asynchronous updates, designated communication channels, flexible meeting times, helps overcome the challenges of distance and time zones, fostering better cohesion. Technology and clear guidelines are your best friends when managing distributed teams. Question 22. The project manager identifies a potential risk. A key subject matter expert, SME, might be reassigned to another critical project, leaving a knowledge gap. This risk has a high probability and high impact. What is the most appropriate risk response strategy in this scenario? A. Accept the risk, hoping the SME will not be reassigned. B. Mitigate the risk by cross-training other team members on the SME's expertise. C. Avoid the risk by stopping all work that requires the SME's knowledge. D. Transfer the risk by outsourcing the work to an external consultant. Answer: B. Mitigate the risk by cross-training other team members on the SME's expertise. Mitigation is a risk response strategy aimed at reducing the probability and/or impact of a negative risk event. In this scenario, cross-training other team members directly addresses the potential knowledge gap by building redundancy, thereby reducing the impact if the SME leaves. This is a proactive step to lessen the severity of the threat rather than simply accepting it or taking drastic measures like avoiding all related work. Proactively reducing the impact or likelihood of a risk is usually the most sensible approach. Question 23. A project's stakeholders are constantly changing their minds about what features are most important, leading to frequent reprioritization and team frustration. The project manager is finding it difficult to get a stable set of requirements. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant to address this challenge? A. Complexity principle. B. Leadership principle. C. Adaptability and resiliency principle. D. Value principle. Answer: D. Value principle. The value principle focuses on continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered to stakeholders. When stakeholders frequently change priorities, it indicates an ongoing struggle to define what truly delivers the most value. The project manager needs to guide stakeholders to focus on delivering tangible value incrementally and help them understand the trade-offs of constant reprioritization. By emphasizing value, the project manager can help stakeholders align on what truly matters and make more stable decisions. Focus on delivering value incrementally to avoid constant shifts in priority. Question 24. During a project, the team identifies a new, significant technical challenge that was not foreseen in the initial planning. This challenge could significantly impact the project's feasibility. What should the project manager do first? A. Escalate the issue immediately to the project sponsor for a decision. B. Direct the team to research and find a solution as quickly as possible. C. Collaborate with the team and relevant experts to analyze the challenge and understand its full implications. D. Revise the project schedule to accommodate potential delays. Answer: C. Collaborate with the team and relevant experts to analyze the challenge and understand its full implications. When a new, significant technical challenge emerges, the project manager's first step is to gain a clear understanding of the problem. This involves working with the team and subject matter experts to analyze the issue, determine its root causes, and assess its potential impact on the project's scope, schedule, budget, and quality. Only after a thorough understanding can informed decisions be made regarding escalation or solution development. Always take the time to fully understand a problem before reacting or seeking solutions. Question 25. The project manager observes that team members are highly skilled individually but struggle to work collaboratively, leading to fragmented efforts and missed dependencies. The project needs to foster better synergy. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain should the project manager prioritize to address this? A. Team performance domain. B. Planning performance domain. C. Project work performance domain. D. Delivery performance domain. Answer: A. Team performance domain. The team performance domain focuses on activities and functions associated with organizing, developing, and managing project teams. The scenario explicitly states that team members struggle to work collaboratively, indicating a need to improve team dynamics, cooperation, and collective problem-solving. By focusing on this domain, the project manager would implement strategies to build a cohesive team, foster effective communication, and facilitate collaboration, which are essential for overall project success. A project is only as strong as its team, so invest in building strong collaboration. Question 26. Your project is in the middle of execution, and key stakeholders express concern that the project is not integrating well with existing organizational systems and processes, potentially causing future operational issues. Which PMBOK 7 principle is primarily being overlooked? A. Quality principle. B. Complexity principle. C. System thinking principle. D. Adaptability and resiliency principle. Answer: C. System thinking principle. The system thinking principle encourages viewing the project as a holistic entity operating within a larger organizational and external environment. The concern that the project isn't integrating well with existing systems indicates a failure to consider the project's broader context and its interdependencies with other parts of the organization. Applying this principle would involve proactively assessing and planning for how the project's deliverables will fit into and interact with the organizational ecosystem. Always consider how your project fits into the bigger picture, both within and outside the organization. Question 27. A project manager is dealing with a diverse set of stakeholders, some of whom have conflicting interests regarding the project's outcome. The project manager needs to find a way to balance these interests to move forward. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant here? A. Leadership principle. B. Stewardship principle. C. Stakeholders principle. D. Tailoring principle. Answer: C. Stakeholders principle. The stakeholders principle emphasizes engaging stakeholders proactively, understanding their diverse needs and expectations, and working collaboratively with them to ensure project success. When there are conflicting interests, it is paramount to apply this principle by facilitating discussions, negotiating trade-offs, and finding solutions that balance competing demands while keeping the project's objectives in sight. Effectively managing stakeholder relationships is fundamental to navigating complex project environments. Question 28. The project manager has identified a new potential vendor for a critical component, who offers a lower price but has no established track record with the organization. This introduces significant uncertainty. What is the most appropriate action regarding this vendor choice? A. Award the contract to the new vendor to reduce costs. B. Stick with an established, more expensive vendor to minimize risk. C. Conduct a thorough risk assessment and due diligence on the new vendor, including references and capability checks. D. Request a smaller, trial order from the new vendor to test their performance. Answer: C. Conduct a thorough risk assessment and due diligence on the new vendor, including references and capability checks. While cost savings are attractive, using an unproven vendor for a critical component introduces significant risk. The most responsible approach is to conduct a thorough risk assessment, which includes due diligence activities like checking references, evaluating their capabilities, and understanding their financial stability. This allows the project manager to make an informed decision by weighing the potential benefits against the risks. Don't let potential savings blind you to potential risks. Always perform due diligence on new suppliers. Question 29. A project team is highly skilled and self-managing. The project manager's role has shifted from directing tasks to removing impediments and coaching the team. Which PMBOK 7 leadership style is the project manager primarily demonstrating? A. Autocratic. B. Laissez-faire. C. Servant leadership. D. Transactional. Answer: C. Servant leadership. Servant leadership is a leadership style where the leader's primary focus is on serving the needs of the team, empowering them, and removing obstacles to their progress. In this scenario, the project manager's shift from directing to removing impediments and coaching directly aligns with the characteristics of a servant leader. This style is particularly effective in agile environments where teams are self-organizing. Being a servant leader means empowering your team and supporting their success by clearing their path. Question 30. Your project has an ambitious deadline, and the team is working at its maximum capacity. A new, non-critical feature request comes in directly from a senior executive, demanding immediate implementation. How should the project manager handle this request? A. Implement the feature immediately to satisfy the executive and avoid conflict. B. Decline the request outright, citing the project's current capacity and critical path. C. Engage the executive to understand the value of the request, explain the impact on the current project, and propose a formal change request or alternative solutions. D. Assign the feature to a junior team member to work on during off hours. Answer: C. Engage the executive to understand the value of the request, explain the impact on the current project, and propose a formal change request or alternative solutions. Project managers must manage expectations and protect the project's scope and schedule. Simply implementing a new request without analysis, especially when the team is at capacity, is irresponsible and leads to scope creep. Declining it outright without discussion can damage relationships. The best approach is to engage the executive respectfully, understand the why behind the request, clearly articulate the impact on the current project, and then guide them through the change control process or propose alternative delivery options, e.g., in a future phase. Always communicate the impact of new requests clearly and facilitate a structured decision-making process. Question 31. The project team has developed a prototype that demonstrates key functionality, and they want to gather early feedback from end users to ensure the product meets their needs before extensive development. Which PMBOK 7 concept is this activity primarily aligning with? A. Predictive life cycle. B. Incremental delivery. C. Value delivery. D. Scope management. Answer: C. Value delivery. This activity is primarily aligned with value delivery. While iterative and incremental approaches contribute to value delivery, the core concept being demonstrated is the active effort to ensure that what is being built genuinely meets user needs and provides tangible benefits. By gathering early feedback on a prototype, the project is proactively ensuring that the eventual product will deliver maximum value, preventing costly rework later. Delivering value means continuously validating that your product meets real needs, not just technical specifications. Question 32. Your project is experiencing high team turnover, leading to loss of institutional knowledge and delays. The project manager wants to improve team stability and knowledge retention. What is the most effective proactive measure? A. Implement a comprehensive knowledge transfer plan, including documentation and cross-training. B. Offer significant bonuses to team members to incentivize them to stay. C. Reduce project complexity to lessen the burden on remaining team members. D. Hire external consultants to fill knowledge gaps as they arise. Answer: A. Implement a comprehensive knowledge transfer plan, including documentation and cross-training. High team turnover directly impacts knowledge retention. The most effective proactive measure is to formalize knowledge transfer. This includes creating clear documentation, conducting cross-training sessions among team members, and establishing processes for capturing lessons learned. This ensures that critical knowledge is shared and not lost when individuals leave, making the team more resilient. Don't let valuable knowledge walk out the door, implement robust knowledge transfer strategies. Question 33. A project manager is evaluating potential vendors for a critical software component. One vendor offers a solution that promises significant performance improvements but is built on a new, unproven technology. The project manager needs to assess the suitability of this vendor and technology. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain is most critical in this evaluation? A. Planning performance domain. B. Uncertainty performance domain. C. Delivery performance domain. D. Measurement performance domain. Answer: B. Uncertainty performance domain. The uncertainty performance domain deals with activities and functions associated with risk and opportunity. The scenario presents a new, unproven technology, which inherently carries significant technical risk and uncertainty regarding its performance and integration. The project manager needs to thoroughly evaluate this uncertainty before making a decision, assessing potential threats and opportunities. When encountering new or unproven elements, prioritize a thorough analysis of the associated uncertainties before committing. Question 34. The project manager notices that the team is consistently struggling with tasks related to data migration, a highly specialized area. This is causing delays and quality issues. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take? A. Assign all data migration tasks to one highly skilled team member. B. Provide general project management training to the entire team. C. Identify specific training needs or consider bringing in an expert for the data migration tasks. D. Remove data migration tasks from the current scope to avoid further issues. Answer: C. Identify specific training needs or consider bringing in an expert for the data migration tasks. When a team struggles with specific, specialized tasks, it indicates a gap in either skills or capacity. The most appropriate action is to address that gap directly. This might involve providing targeted training to the existing team members to upskill them, or, if the skill set is highly specialized and needed immediately, bringing in an external expert or consultant who possesses that specific expertise. Don't let a skills gap derail your project, address it directly through training or specialized support. Question 35. The project has recently experienced several unforeseen technical issues that have significantly impacted the schedule. The project manager needs to communicate the updated project status to stakeholders transparently. Which PMBOK 7 principle is being emphasized? A. Transparency principle. B. Leadership principle. C. Adaptability and resiliency principle. D. Quality principle. Answer: A. Transparency principle. The transparency principle, while not explicitly listed as a standalone principle in PMBOK 7's core principles, is a fundamental aspect of the Project Management Institute's (PMI) Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct, and is embedded within effective project management, particularly regarding communication and reporting. It emphasizes providing clear, accurate, and timely information to stakeholders, especially about project performance, risks, and challenges. Communicating unforeseen issues and their impact transparently builds trust and allows for informed decision-making. Always be open and honest about project status, especially when facing challenges. Question 36. A project is using an incremental development approach. After delivering the first increment, the customer provides feedback that contradicts some initial assumptions about user interaction. What is the project manager's best response to this feedback? A. Document the feedback but continue with the original plan for subsequent increments. B. Revert to a predictive approach to replan the entire project. C. Analyze the feedback with the team and adjust the plan for subsequent increments to incorporate the learning. D. Blame the customer for providing unclear initial requirements. Answer: C. Analyze the feedback with the team and adjust the plan for subsequent increments to incorporate the learning. An incremental development approach thrives on early and continuous feedback. The purpose of delivering increments and gathering feedback is specifically to validate assumptions and learn from real-world usage. The best response is to embrace this feedback, analyze it collaboratively with the team, and then adapt the plan for future increments to ensure the product evolves to truly meet customer needs. Embracing feedback and adapting your plan is at the heart of incremental and agile approaches. Question 37. The project manager receives an email from a key stakeholder expressing dissatisfaction with the project's progress, stating that deliverables are taking too long and are not visible enough. The team is working diligently and delivering outputs regularly. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain needs attention? A. Project work performance domain. B. Planning Performance Domain. C. Measurement Performance Domain. D. Stakeholder Performance Domain. Answer: D. Stakeholder Performance Domain. The stakeholder performance domain involves activities and functions associated with stakeholders. The core issue here is stakeholder dissatisfaction due to a perceived lack of visibility and slow progress, despite the team working hard. This indicates a potential gap in managing stakeholder expectations, communication, and engagement. The project manager needs to reassess how stakeholders are being informed and involved to ensure their perception aligns with reality and their concerns are addressed. Effective stakeholder engagement means managing their expectations and keeping them informed, not just delivering outputs. Question 38. A project team is highly innovative and frequently comes up with new, valuable ideas during execution. However, incorporating these ideas often leads to scope changes and delays. Which PMBOK 7 principle needs to be balanced with the desire for innovation? A. Value principle. B. Tailoring principle. C. Planning principle. D. Complexity principle. Answer: C. Planning principle. The planning principle is about developing an organized, comprehensive approach to creating the project plans. While innovation is valuable, constant incorporation of new ideas without proper planning and change control can destabilize a project. The project manager needs to balance the drive for innovation, potentially linked to the value principle, with the need for structured planning and controlled execution. This means finding a way to evaluate and integrate innovative ideas through a managed process, rather than simply allowing them to disrupt the project. Innovation is great, but it must be balanced with disciplined planning and change control to avoid chaos. Question 39. The project manager is preparing to close out a project. What is the primary purpose of conducting a lessons learned session at this stage? A. To identify individuals responsible for project failures. B. To document all positive and negative experiences for future projects. C. To celebrate project successes and team achievements. D. To formally transfer project deliverables to the operational team. Answer: B. To document all positive and negative experiences for future projects. A lessons learned session is a critical activity during project closure. Its primary purpose is to systematically capture knowledge gained throughout the project, including what went well, what could have been done better, and what challenges were faced. This documented information becomes an organizational process asset, enabling continuous improvement for future projects and helping the organization avoid repeating mistakes while replicating successes. Learning from experience is vital for organizational growth, so treat lessons learned as valuable assets. Question 40. Your project relies heavily on an external vendor for a critical software component. The vendor has recently experienced significant internal issues, raising concerns about their ability to deliver on time and with the required quality. What is the most proactive action for the project manager to take? A. Start looking for alternative vendors immediately. B. Reduce the scope of the project to lessen dependency on the vendor. C. Increase the project's contingency reserves to cover potential delays or cost overruns. D. Engage with the vendor to understand their issues, assess the impact, and discuss mitigation plans. Answer: D. Engage with the vendor to understand their issues, assess the impact, and discuss mitigation plans. When a critical vendor faces issues, the most proactive first step is direct engagement. The project manager needs to communicate with the vendor to understand the nature and extent of their problems, assess the potential impact on the project's schedule and quality, and collaboratively develop mitigation strategies. Jumping to extreme measures like finding a new vendor or reducing scope without understanding the situation can be premature and may damage existing relationships. Transparent communication and collaborative problem solving are key when managing vendor relationships. Question 41. A project manager is leading an agile project where the team consistently delivers working software at the end of each sprint. However, the project sponsor and end users feel that the product lacks polish and consistent user interface (UI) design across different features. Which PMBOK 7 principle is being undervalued here? A. Quality principle. B. Adaptability and resiliency principle. C. System thinking principle. D. Uncertainty principle. Answer: A. Quality principle. The quality principle focuses on ensuring that project deliverables meet the needs and expectations of stakeholders and conform to required specifications, including fitness for use and customer satisfaction. The scenario indicates that while functionality is present, there's a lack of polish and UI consistency, which directly relates to the perceived quality of the product from a user experience perspective. By focusing on the quality principle, the project manager would guide the team to incorporate practices that ensure not just functional completeness, but also high standards of user experience and design consistency. Quality goes beyond functionality, it encompasses the overall user experience and stakeholder satisfaction. Question 42. A project team is frequently experiencing communication breakdowns due to different interpretations of technical terms and requirements. The project manager wants to improve clarity and reduce ambiguity. Which PMBOK 7 artifact or tool would be most helpful? A. Stakeholder register. B. Risk register. C. Glossary or common terminology document. D. Project charter. Answer: C. Glossary or common terminology document. When communication breakdowns occur due to different interpretations of terms, a standardized reference is invaluable. A glossary or a common terminology document defines key terms and ensures that everyone on the team and with stakeholders uses and understands them consistently. This reduces ambiguity, improves clarity, and prevents misunderstandings that can lead to rework or delays. Establishing a common language is fundamental to clear communication on any project. Question 43. The project is struggling with budget overruns, primarily due to unexpected changes in material costs and fluctuating exchange rates. The project manager needs to enhance the project's financial resilience. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant for addressing this? A. Value principle. B. Uncertainty principle. C. Planning principle. D. Stewardship principle. Answer: B. Uncertainty principle. The uncertainty principle focuses on acknowledging and addressing the inherent uncertainties in a project, including risks and opportunities. Fluctuating material costs and exchange rates are examples of external uncertainties that can negatively impact the project budget. To enhance financial resilience, the project manager needs to apply this principle by proactively identifying these financial risks, analyzing their potential impact, and developing appropriate risk responses, such as contingency reserves or hedging strategies. Embracing uncertainty means planning for potential financial fluctuations to safeguard your project budget. Question 44. A new critical requirement emerges late in the project due to a change in market conditions. Incorporating it would require significant rework and delay. The project manager must decide whether to include it or defer it. Which PMBOK 7 principle should guide this decision? A. Quality principle. B. Value principle. C. Tailoring principle. D. Leadership principle. Answer: B. Value principle. The value principle emphasizes continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered to stakeholders. When a new critical requirement emerges, the decision to incorporate or defer it should primarily be driven by its potential value contribution versus the cost and delay it would incur. The project manager needs to facilitate a discussion with stakeholders to assess if the added value outweighs the disruption, ensuring the project focuses on delivering the highest possible value. Always weigh the potential value of a change against its cost and impact on the project. Question 45. The project team is consistently missing deadlines for internal milestones, though external deliverables are generally on time. The project manager observes that tasks are often left unfinished until the last minute. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain requires the most immediate attention? A. Delivery performance domain. B. Project work performance domain. C. Measurement performance domain. D. Planning performance domain. Answer: B. Project work performance domain. The project work performance domain focuses on activities related to managing and performing the actual project work, including managing physical resources, implementing plans, and performing ongoing project activities. Consistently missing internal milestones and last-minute task completion indicates issues within the execution and management of the day-to-day project work. The project manager needs to look into how tasks are being planned, executed, and monitored at a granular level within this domain. Efficiently managing the actual project work is essential to hitting internal targets and maintaining momentum. Question 46. The project team frequently struggles with understanding the priorities of different features, leading to inefficient sequencing of work. Stakeholders have varied and often conflicting views. What artifact or activity would best help resolve this? A. Daily stand-up meetings. B. Risk register. C. Product backlog refinement, grooming. D. Lessons learned register. Answer: C. Product backlog refinement, grooming. Product backlog refinement, often called grooming, is an agile practice where the product owner and the development team collaboratively review, update, and prioritize items in the product backlog. This activity is crucial for breaking down larger items, clarifying requirements, estimating effort, and ensuring that the team understands which features are most important to work on next, addressing the issue of conflicting stakeholder priorities and inefficient sequencing. Regularly refining the backlog is key to keeping an agile team focused on delivering the most valuable features. Question 47. A project manager is leading a global project with team members from different cultural backgrounds. During meetings, some team members are hesitant to speak up or challenge ideas directly. Which PMBOK 7 principle should the project manager leverage to foster more open communication and participation? A. Stewardship principle. B. Leadership principle. C. Team principle. D. Quality principle. Answer: B. Leadership principle. The leadership principle focuses on guiding, motivating, and influencing the project team and stakeholders to achieve project objectives. In this scenario, the project manager, as a leader, needs to proactively create a safe and inclusive environment where all team members, regardless of their cultural background, feel comfortable contributing their ideas and challenging assumptions without fear. This might involve adapting communication styles, encouraging diverse perspectives, and actively soliciting input. Effective leadership adapts to and leverages team diversity to foster an open and productive environment. Question 48. A project has just completed its final delivery, and the project manager is preparing the final report. What is a key activity to ensure the project benefits are actually realized by the organization in the long term? A. Hand over all project documentation to the operations team. B. Perform a detailed financial audit of the project expenses. C. Ensure a robust plan for benefits realization is in place and executed by the responsible parties. D. Celebrate the project's success with the team and stakeholders. Answer: C. Ensure a robust plan for benefits realization is in place and executed by the responsible parties. While handing over documentation and auditing expenses are important for closure, the ultimate measure of a project's success often lies in whether its intended benefits are actually realized by the organization after the project ends. This requires a dedicated benefits realization plan, which outlines how, when, and by whom the project's outputs will translate into the desired outcomes and value. The project manager ensures this plan exists and is championed, even if its execution extends beyond the project's formal closure. Project success isn't just about finishing, it's about the long-term value delivered. Question 49. The project manager observes that the team is consistently prioritizing urgent, reactive tasks over planned, proactive work. This leads to burnout and less strategic progress. Which PMBOK 7 principle is being undermined? A. Adaptability and resiliency principle. B. Planning principle. C. Risk principle. D. Value principle. Answer: B. Planning principle. The planning principle emphasizes developing an organized and comprehensive approach to creating project plans, which includes prioritizing work effectively to achieve project objectives. When reactive tasks consistently overshadow planned work, it indicates a breakdown in effective planning and prioritization. The project manager needs to re-establish a disciplined planning rhythm, helping the team focus on high-priority planned work and manage reactive tasks more strategically. Effective planning ensures that your team is working on the right things at the right time, rather than constantly firefighting. Question 50. A project manager is managing a highly innovative project with a very uncertain scope and a high need for flexibility. The original plan was a predictive approach, but it is clear it won't work. Which PMBOK 7 concept suggests adapting the approach to the project's context? A. Stewardship principle. B. Tailoring principle. C. Quality principle. D. Measurement principle. Answer: B. Tailoring principle. The tailoring principle recognizes that every project is unique, and project management approaches should be adapted to fit the specific context, characteristics, and environment of the project. In this scenario, recognizing that a predictive approach is unsuitable for a highly uncertain and flexible project and shifting to a more adaptive approach, like agile or hybrid, is a direct application of the tailoring principle. Don't force a project into a rigid methodology, tailor your approach to fit its unique needs. Question 51. The project team successfully delivered the product within budget and on schedule. However, end users are complaining about the complexity of the user interface and high error rates, indicating the product is not truly fit for use. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain failed to adequately deliver? A. Project work performance domain. B. Delivery performance domain. C. Measurement performance domain. D. Uncertainty performance domain. Answer: B. Delivery performance domain. The delivery performance domain focuses on ensuring that the project delivers the scope and quality that the project and product teams originally planned, and that the project delivers value to the organization and its stakeholders. Despite being on time and budget, the product's high error rates and complex UI suggest it doesn't meet the implicit or explicit quality expectations for fitness for use, thus failing to deliver true value from the end user's perspective. Successful delivery isn't just about completing tasks, it's about delivering a valuable, high-quality product that truly serves its purpose. Question 52. A project is experiencing delays because the team is frequently interrupted by requests from various departments, even for minor issues. This disrupts focus and workflow. What is the most effective approach for the project manager to manage these interruptions? A. Implement a strict, no interruptions policy for the team. B. Direct all requests to the project manager to filter and prioritize. C. Establish clear communication channels and a single point of contact for external requests. D. Increase the project buffer to account for unforeseen interruptions. Answer: C. Establish clear communication channels and a single point of contact for external requests. Frequent, unmanaged interruptions can significantly derail a project team's productivity. Establishing clear communication channels and designating a single point of contact, e.g., the product owner in Agile, or the project manager themselves, to receive and filter external requests centralizes communication. This allows the team to focus on their work while ensuring that legitimate requests are properly triaged and prioritized, reducing disruption. Streamlining communication pathways helps protect your team's focus and productivity. Question 53. During a sprint review, a key stakeholder challenges the value of a feature the team is about to start, proposing a completely different approach that seems more aligned with current market trends. What should the project manager do? A. Reject the new idea as it falls outside the current sprint scope. B. Immediately incorporate the new idea to satisfy the stakeholder. C. Facilitate a discussion with the team and product owner to assess the new approach's potential value and feasibility. D. Defer the discussion to the next quarterly review. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion with the team and product owner to assess the new approach's potential value and feasibility. In agile environments, feedback and adaptation are crucial for maximizing value. When a key stakeholder proposes a potentially more valuable approach, the project manager, or Scrum Master, should facilitate a collaborative discussion. This involves assessing the new idea's potential value, its feasibility, and its impact on the current plan with the product owner and the development team. This ensures that the most valuable work is prioritized and that decisions are made collaboratively. Embrace stakeholder feedback. It's an opportunity to ensure your project delivers the most relevant value. Question 54. A project manager has identified a significant risk that could severely impact the project. The project sponsor is aware but seems unwilling to allocate sufficient resources to address it. Which PMBOK 7 principle is the project manager primarily upholding by advocating for risk mitigation? A. Team principle. B. Leadership principle. C. Stewardship principle. D. Quality principle. Answer: C. Stewardship principle. The stewardship principle emphasizes acting responsibly and ethically with the resources and trust provided, including actively managing risks to protect the project's value and assets. By advocating for sufficient resources to address a significant risk, the project manager is fulfilling their duty as a steward to protect the project from potential harm and ensure its success for the organization. Being a good steward means actively managing risks to safeguard the project's well-being and assets. Question 55. The project has adopted a new, highly specialized technology. The project manager recognizes that the existing team lacks the necessary expertise and there's a high risk of failure if not addressed. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager? A. Proceed with the current team, assuming they will learn on the job. B. Engage external consultants to perform all tasks related to the new technology. C. Invest in targeted training for the existing team or recruit new members with the required expertise. D. Revert to an older, more familiar technology to reduce risk. Answer: C. Invest in targeted training for the existing team or recruit new members with the required expertise. When a project adopts new technology and the team lacks expertise, the most effective solution is to bridge that skill gap directly. Investing in targeted training for the existing team empowers them and builds internal capability. If time or complexity prohibits this, or if the skill is needed immediately, recruiting new members with the specific expertise is a viable alternative. This proactive approach ensures the team has the necessary skills to succeed with the new technology. Address skill gaps directly to ensure your team is equipped for success. Question 56. A project manager is leading a project where the core product is being developed using an agile approach, but the regulatory compliance documentation and final integration with existing enterprise systems require a more structured, sequential approach. Which PMBOK 7 life cycle approach is best suited here? A. Predictive. B. Iterative. C. Incremental. D. Hybrid. Answer: D. Hybrid. A hybrid approach combines elements of both predictive and adaptive methodologies, allowing for flexibility where needed while maintaining a structured approach for other parts. The scenario clearly describes a situation where the product development benefits from Agile's adaptability, but other aspects like regulatory compliance and final integration require a more linear, controlled approach. A hybrid life cycle allows the project manager to tailor the approach to different components of the project effectively. When your project has varying needs, consider a hybrid approach to leverage the best of both worlds. Question 57. The project manager wants to ensure that project decisions are made with the long-term sustainability and operational viability of the product in mind, not just immediate delivery. Which PMBOK 7 principle is being emphasized? A. Quality principle. B. Value principle. C. System thinking principle. D. Adaptability and resiliency principle. Answer: C. System thinking principle. The system thinking principle emphasizes viewing the project as a holistic system, understanding how its various components interact and how changes in one part can affect the entire system and its surrounding environment, including its long-term operational viability. By focusing on long-term sustainability and operational viability, the project manager is considering the project's outcomes within the broader organizational ecosystem, beyond just the immediate project completion. Always think about how your project's outputs will live and operate within the larger organizational context. Question 58. A project team is highly self-organizing and productive, but the project manager is concerned that they are not adequately documenting their decisions and processes, which could pose a risk for future maintenance or team changes. What is the project manager's most appropriate action? A. Implement a strict documentation policy and hold the team accountable. B. Encourage the team to identify which documentation is truly valuable and integrated into their workflow. C. Hire a dedicated document controller for the project. D. Ignore it, as Agile values working software over comprehensive documentation. Answer: B. Encourage the team to identify which documentation is truly valuable and integrated into their workflow. While Agile principles value working software over comprehensive documentation, they do not advocate for no documentation. The key is just enough documentation that provides value. The project manager should collaborate with the self-organizing team to help them identify what documentation is truly useful for future maintenance and knowledge transfer, and how to integrate it efficiently into their existing workflow, rather than imposing a top-down, potentially burdensome policy. Empower the team to define what essential documentation looks like for them and their project. Question 59. A project manager is preparing to engage with a new, powerful stakeholder who has significant influence but currently has very limited knowledge about the project. What is the project manager's primary objective in the initial engagement with this stakeholder? A. To gain the stakeholder's immediate approval for all project plans. B. To limit the stakeholder's influence to avoid scope creep. C. To educate the stakeholder about the project's objectives and gather their expectations and concerns. D. To delegate all communication regarding the project to the sponsor. Answer: C. To educate the stakeholder about the project's objectives and gather their expectations and concerns. When engaging with a powerful but uninformed stakeholder, the primary objective is to build a foundational understanding and relationship. This involves clearly communicating the project's purpose, goals, and current status, while also actively listening to their expectations, concerns, and potential needs. This initial engagement is crucial for setting clear expectations and ensuring their future input is constructive. Proactively engaging and educating influential stakeholders is key to aligning their expectations with project realities. Question 60. The project is nearing completion, and the project manager is focusing on ensuring that the final deliverables are accepted by the customer and that the project effectively transitions to operations. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain is most relevant at this stage? A. Project work performance domain. B. Planning performance domain. C. Delivery performance domain. D. Measurement performance domain. Answer: C. Delivery performance domain. The delivery performance domain is fundamentally concerned with ensuring that the project delivers the scope and quality that the project and product teams originally planned, and that the project delivers value to the organization and its stakeholders. At the end of a project, the focus shifts to formal acceptance of deliverables and a smooth transition to operations, which directly aligns with the goal of delivering value and ensuring the project's outputs are successfully integrated and utilized. Successful delivery means not just building it, but ensuring it's accepted and used effectively. Question 61. A project manager is observing that team members are often waiting for each other to complete tasks, leading to bottlenecks and inefficiencies. The team's interdependencies are not clearly mapped out. Which PMBOK 7 principle could help address this issue? A. Adaptability and resiliency principle. B. System thinking principle. C. Quality principle. D. Risk principle. Answer: B. System thinking principle. The system thinking principle encourages viewing the project as a holistic system where various components, including tasks and team members, are interdependent. The observed bottlenecks due to waiting on others suggest a lack of understanding or optimization of these interdependencies. By applying systems thinking, the project manager would help the team visualize workflows, identify bottlenecks, and optimize the flow of value by understanding how each part impacts the whole. Understanding how all pieces of your project fit together is crucial for smooth execution. Question 62. A project team is continuously delivering features, but the project manager suspects that the team is not truly focused on the highest priority items according to the strategic goals. There's a disconnect between output and desired outcome. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain needs strengthening? A. Project work performance domain. B. Delivery performance domain. C. Measurement performance domain. D. Planning performance domain. Answer: B. Delivery performance domain. The delivery performance domain is focused on delivering the scope and quality that was planned, and crucially, ensuring that the project delivers value to the organization and its stakeholders. If the team is delivering features but not the highest priority ones or those aligned with strategic goals, it indicates a disconnect in delivering the right value or outcomes, despite delivering outputs. This domain emphasizes ensuring that the outcomes produced truly meet the strategic objectives. Delivering value is about building the right things, not just building things right. Question 63. The project manager needs to assess the overall project health and forecast future performance based on current progress. Which PMBOK 7 measurement metric provides the best indication of project efficiency in terms of both schedule and cost? A. Earned value, EV. B. Cost performance index, CPI. C. Schedule performance index, SPI. D. To complete performance index, TCPI. Answer: D. To complete performance index, TCPI. The To complete performance index, TCPI, is a forward-looking earned value management, EVM, metric that projects the future cost efficiency needed to achieve a specific target, either the budget at completion, BAC, or estimate at completion, EAC. It directly indicates the required efficiency, work remaining divided by funds remaining, to complete the project within the budget or current estimate. While CPI and SPI show past performance, TCPI provides insight into the efficiency needed moving forward to meet budget goals. For understanding the efficiency required to finish within budget, TCPI is your go-to metric. Question 64. A project's requirements are highly dynamic and uncertain, making it impossible to define the full scope upfront. The project manager needs to select a development approach that allows for flexibility and continuous adaptation. Which approach aligns best with the PMBOK 7 recommendation for such situations? A. Predictive life cycle. B. Iterative life cycle. C. Adaptive, agile, life cycle. D. Incremental life cycle. Answer: C. Adaptive, agile, life cycle. An adaptive, agile, life cycle is specifically recommended for projects with high degrees of change, uncertainty, and complexity, where requirements are likely to evolve rapidly. This approach embraces flexibility, frequent feedback, and continuous adaptation through short iterations, sprints. Unlike purely iterative or incremental, Agile specifically emphasizes responding to change over following a plan, making it ideal for highly dynamic environments. When uncertainty is high, an adaptive approach provides the most flexibility to navigate evolving requirements. Question 65. The project manager observes that a project is suffering from poor decision-making, with key decisions often delayed or made without full consideration of all options. Which PMBOK 7 principle could help improve this situation? A. Planning principle. B. Leadership principle. C. Transparency principle. D. Quality principle. Answer: B. Leadership principle. The leadership principle focuses on guiding, motivating, and influencing the project team and stakeholders to achieve project objectives, which inherently includes fostering effective decision-making. A project manager demonstrating strong leadership would facilitate timely, informed decisions by ensuring all relevant information is available, exploring options, and empowering the right people to make choices. Effective leadership is critical for driving timely and well-informed project decisions. Question 66. A project is halfway through, and the initial risk assessment identified some minor risks. However, new, high-impact risks have emerged due to unexpected market shifts. The project manager realizes that the initial risk management plan is insufficient. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant here? A. Value principle. B. Adaptability and resiliency principle. C. System thinking principle. D. Quality principle. Answer: B. Adaptability and resiliency principle. The adaptability and resiliency principle emphasizes the project's ability to respond to change and recover from setbacks. When new, high-impact risks emerge that were not foreseen, it tests the project's resilience and its ability to adapt its plans and strategies. The project manager needs to apply this principle by fostering a mindset and processes that allow the project to react effectively to unexpected threats and maintain momentum despite adversity. Projects must be able to bend without breaking, cultivate adaptability and resilience. Question 67. The project manager needs to select the most appropriate development approach for a new product where the scope is well understood, but there's a strong emphasis on delivering early, usable versions of the product to the market in stages. Which life cycle approach is best suited? A. Predictive. B. Iterative. C. Incremental. D. Agile. Answer: C. Incremental. An incremental life cycle delivers a complete, usable portion of the product in each iteration, allowing stakeholders to gain value earlier. While the overall scope is clear, the emphasis is on staged delivery of functional increments. This differs from iterative, which focuses on refining features, or agile, which is for high uncertainty. Here, the goal is to get working software to market in pieces, which is the hallmark of an incremental approach. When you have a clear destination but want to deliver working parts along the way, incremental is a great fit. Question 68. The project manager observes that the team is becoming increasingly siloed, with different subteams focusing only on their specific tasks and not communicating enough about interdependencies. This is leading to integration issues later in the project. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain is most directly impacted? A. Planning performance domain. B. Project work performance domain. C. Delivery performance domain. D. Team performance domain. Answer: D. Team performance domain. The team performance domain focuses on activities related to organizing, developing, and managing project teams. The issue described, with subteams working in silos and lacking inter-team communication about dependencies, directly impacts the effectiveness and cohesion of the overall project team. The project manager needs to foster better collaboration and communication within this domain. A well-functioning team is collaborative and interconnected, not siloed. Question 69. A project has just successfully completed its pilot phase, and the project manager needs to present the results to senior leadership to secure funding for the next full-scale phase. What is the project manager's primary objective in this presentation? A. To highlight all challenges and risks encountered during the pilot. B. To demonstrate the value delivered and align the pilot's outcomes with strategic objectives. C. To request additional team members for the next phase. D. To review the detailed financial expenditure of the pilot phase. Answer: B. To demonstrate the value delivered and align the pilot's outcomes with strategic objectives. When seeking funding for a next phase, the primary objective is to make a compelling case for continued investment. This means demonstrating the success and value achieved in the pilot phase and clearly linking those outcomes to the organization's broader strategic goals. Senior leadership needs to see a clear return on investment and alignment with their vision to justify further funding. Focus on the value and strategic alignment to secure buy-in for future phases. Question 70. A project manager is reviewing performance metrics and notices that the team is consistently over budget but under schedule. The project is still on track for its external completion date. Which PMBOK 7 principle could be at play, possibly leading to this situation? A. Quality principle. B. Value principle. C. Complexity principle. D. Planning principle. Answer: B. Value principle. The value principle focuses on continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered. Being under schedule, ahead of time, and over budget could indicate that the team is prioritizing speed of delivery, possibly by expending more resources, overtime, extra tools, etc., to deliver perceived value earlier. The project manager should assess if this trade-off between cost and early delivery truly maximizes overall value for the stakeholders or if resources are being inefficiently utilized. Always question if the trade-offs you're making truly optimize for value. Question 71. Your project is experiencing frequent changes from regulatory bodies that necessitate continuous adjustments to the scope and approach. The project manager needs to embed flexibility into the project. Which PMBOK 7 principle is paramount here? A. Risk principle. B. Tailoring principle. C. Adaptability and resiliency principle. D. Transparency principle. Answer: C. Adaptability and resiliency principle. The adaptability and resiliency principle emphasizes a project's ability to respond to change and recover from setbacks. When facing frequent regulatory changes, the project needs to be inherently flexible and robust enough to incorporate these shifts without collapsing. This principle guides the project manager to build processes and a mindset that allows the project to absorb and react effectively to external pressures. Being adaptable and resilient is key to surviving and thriving in volatile environments. Question 72. A project manager has identified several potential opportunities that could enhance the project's value, but they come with associated risks and require additional resources. What is the project manager's best approach? A. Focus only on addressing threats, ignoring opportunities to keep the project simple. B. Analyze the potential opportunities and their associated risks, then present them to stakeholders for a decision. C. Implement the opportunities immediately, assuming the benefits outweigh the risks. D. Document the opportunities but defer action until the project is stable. Answer: B. Analyze the potential opportunities and their associated risks, then present them to stakeholders for a decision. Project management is not just about mitigating threats, it's also about leveraging opportunities. When potential opportunities are identified, the project manager's role is to analyze their potential benefits, assess the associated risks, estimate resource requirements, and then present this comprehensive analysis to relevant stakeholders, like the sponsor or change control board. This allows for an informed decision on whether to pursue the opportunity, balancing potential gains against costs and risks. Always weigh the pros and cons of opportunities and let stakeholders make the final call. Question 73. A project manager is leading a diverse team, and there are occasional misunderstandings due to differing cultural norms regarding feedback and directness. The project manager wants to foster a more inclusive and effective communication environment. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant? A. Quality principle. B. Team principle. C. Complexity principle. D. Leadership principle. Answer: B. Team principle. The team principle emphasizes fostering a collaborative and respectful project team environment. When cultural norms lead to communication challenges, addressing these directly falls under building a cohesive and high-performing team. The project manager needs to establish norms that embrace diversity, encourage open communication, and provide mechanisms for constructive feedback that respects different cultural contexts. Building a strong team means understanding and leveraging the diversity within it for better collaboration. Question 74. The project sponsor has expressed a desire for more frequent updates on project progress, particularly focusing on the status of high-priority features rather than just overall task completion. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain is most relevant to address this request? A. Planning performance domain. B. Project work performance domain. C. Measurement performance domain. D. Uncertainty performance domain. Answer: C. Measurement performance domain. The measurement performance domain focuses on activities and functions associated with assessing project performance and progress. The sponsor's request for more frequent, value-oriented updates, high-priority features, rather than just task completion directly relates to how the project's progress and value delivery are being measured and reported. The project manager needs to adjust measurement techniques and reporting to provide the insights the sponsor requires. Knowing how to measure and report progress effectively is key to satisfying stakeholder information needs. Question 75. A critical design decision needs to be made, but key stakeholders are dispersed globally, making real-time meetings difficult. The project manager needs to facilitate an informed and timely decision. What is the most effective approach? A. Make the decision unilaterally to avoid delays. B. Postpone the decision until all stakeholders can meet face-to-face. C. Use asynchronous communication tools and clear documentation to gather input and facilitate decision-making. D. Delegate the decision to the closest available stakeholder. Answer: C. Use asynchronous communication tools and clear documentation to gather input and facilitate decision-making. For globally dispersed stakeholders and important decisions, asynchronous communication tools, like dedicated collaboration platforms, shared documents for comments, or detailed email threads, combined with clear documentation allow all stakeholders to contribute their input regardless of time zones. This ensures an informed decision without delaying the project, as opposed to waiting for a physical meeting or making a unilateral choice. Leverage technology to bridge geographical gaps and ensure all voices are heard in decision-making. Question 76. Your project team is very effective at responding to immediate crises but struggles with proactive planning and anticipating future problems. This leads to a lot of firefighting. Which PMBOK 7 principle should the project manager emphasize? A. Adaptability and resiliency principle. B. Planning principle. C. Risk principle. D. Value principle. Answer: C. Risk principle. The risk principle focuses on identifying, analyzing, and responding to project uncertainties throughout the project lifecycle. The team's tendency to firefight rather than plan proactively indicates a weakness in proactive risk management. By emphasizing this principle, the project manager would guide the team to adopt processes for early identification of potential issues and planning responses, shifting from reactive problem solving to proactive risk mitigation. Proactive risk management is about preventing fires, not just putting them out. Question 77. A project manager is overseeing a very large and complex project with many interdependencies between different work streams. The project manager needs a strong framework to ensure all parts align. Which PMBOK 7 concept is paramount in this situation? A. Individual leadership. B. Micromanagement. C. System thinking. D. Flexible scope. Answer: C. System thinking. The system thinking principle is essential for large, complex projects with many interdependencies. It encourages viewing the project as a cohesive system, understanding how changes or issues in one part can impact other areas and the project as a whole. This holistic perspective helps the project manager ensure alignment, manage integration points, and make decisions that consider the entire ecosystem of the project. For complex projects, thinking of all parts as interconnected systems is crucial for success. Question 78. A project has just completed and achieved all its technical objectives. However, the anticipated market share gain, the original business objective, was not realized. What could be a primary reason for this, in terms of PMBOK 7 principles? A. Poor adherence to the quality principle. B. Insufficient focus on the planning principle. C. A disconnect in achieving the value principle. D. Inadequate application of the uncertainty principle. Answer: C. A disconnect in achieving the value principle. The value principle focuses on continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered to stakeholders and the organization. While technical objectives were met, the failure to achieve the business objective, market share gain, indicates a fundamental disconnect in delivering the intended value. The project produced an output, but that output did not translate into the desired outcome or business benefit. Project success is ultimately measured by the value it delivers, not just by completing tasks. Question 79. The project manager observes a significant increase in requests for new features from multiple stakeholders, most of which are out of the original scope. The project is struggling to deliver its core functionality. What is the project manager's ethical responsibility in this situation? A. Inform stakeholders that only core functionality will be delivered. B. Accommodate all requests to maintain stakeholder satisfaction. C. Facilitate a discussion with stakeholders to prioritize, manage expectations, and follow the change control process. D. Pass the decision to the project sponsor to avoid conflict. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion with stakeholders to prioritize, manage expectations, and follow the change control process. The project manager has an ethical and professional responsibility to manage the project scope effectively, which includes protecting the project from uncontrolled scope creep while still listening to stakeholder needs. The best approach is to engage stakeholders, help them understand the impact of new requests, prioritize what truly delivers the most value, and ensure any agreed-upon changes go through a formal change control process. This ensures transparency, accountability, and disciplined project execution. Managing scope ethically means saying no when necessary, but always with clear communication and a structured process. Question 80. Your Agile team is highly autonomous, but the product owner is often unavailable to clarify requirements or make timely decisions, leading to delays. What is the project manager's primary role in addressing this impediment? A. Take over the product owner's responsibilities to ensure decisions are made. B. Remind the team that they are self-organizing and should find a solution. C. Facilitate communication with the product owner and escalate the issue to management if necessary to resolve the bottleneck. D. Document the delays and update the project schedule accordingly. Answer: C. Facilitate communication with the product owner and escalate the issue to management if necessary to resolve the bottleneck. In an agile context, the project manager, or Scrum Master, acts as a servant leader, removing impediments that hinder the team's progress. An unavailable product owner is a significant impediment. The project manager's role is to facilitate better engagement with the product owner, help them understand the impact of their unavailability, and, if the issue persists, escalate it to higher management to ensure the product owner has the time and support needed to fulfill their responsibilities. Your job as a project manager is to clear the path for your team, even if it means addressing issues with other key roles. Question 81. A project is halfway through, and a new technology emerges that could drastically improve the product's performance but would require significant changes to the current architecture and retraining for the team. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant when evaluating this new technology? A. Quality principle. B. Adaptability and resiliency principle. C. Value principle. D. Planning principle. Answer: C. Value principle. When a new technology emerges with the potential for drastic performance improvement, the primary consideration should be whether incorporating it adds sufficient value to the project and its deliverables to justify the cost, effort, and disruption of the change. The value principle guides this decision by prompting an assessment of the trade-offs between current plans and the potential for increased value from the new technology. Always assess new opportunities through the lens of maximizing value delivered. Question 82. The project manager has identified a significant risk that, if it occurs, would severely impact the project's ability to deliver. The team and stakeholders are aware, but there's a collective tendency to downplay its probability. What is the project manager's best course of action regarding this risk? A. Proceed as planned, trusting the team's collective intuition. B. Conduct a more rigorous, objective risk assessment and present clear data on probability and impact to stakeholders. C. Transfer the risk to a third party to absolve the project of responsibility. D. Ignore the risk and focus on positive aspects of the project. Answer: B. Conduct a more rigorous, objective risk assessment and present clear data on probability and impact to stakeholders. As a project manager and steward, it's crucial to ensure that risks are assessed objectively and not downplayed. When there's a disconnect between perceived risk and its potential reality, the best approach is to perform a more thorough, data-driven analysis of the risk's probability and impact. Presenting this objective data to stakeholders helps them understand the true nature of the threat and encourages appropriate action. Don't let wishful thinking dictate your risk management. Rely on data and objective assessment. Question 83. The project team has established a routine of daily stand-up meetings, but the project manager notices that these meetings often run long, diverge into problem-solving sessions, and lose focus. What specific action should the project manager take to improve the effectiveness of these meetings? A. Cancel stand-up meetings and rely on written reports instead. B. Implement a strict timer and redirect discussions that deviate from the stand-up's purpose. C. Invite senior stakeholders to attend to ensure team focus. D. Extend the meeting duration to allow for problem solving. Answer: B. Implement a strict timer and redirect discussions that deviate from the stand-up's purpose. Daily stand-up meetings in agile methodologies are designed to be short, focused, and forward-looking, primarily for team members to share what they did, what they will do, and any impediments. They are not meant for in-depth problem-solving or detailed discussions. The project manager, acting as a facilitator or Scrum Master, should enforce the time box and gently redirect conversations that diverge, encouraging follow-up discussions outside the stand-up for problem-solving. Keep stand-ups brief and focused, tackle detailed discussions separately. Question 84. A project manager is faced with a project where the success criteria are vaguely defined and open to multiple interpretations by different stakeholders. This ambiguity is causing conflict and rework. Which PMBOK 7 principle needs to be strengthened to resolve this? A. Leadership principle. B. Quality principle. C. Value principle. D. Complexity principle. Answer: C. Value principle. The value principle emphasizes continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered to stakeholders. Vague success criteria directly hinder the ability to define and deliver value, as different stakeholders have different ideas of what constitutes success. The project manager needs to facilitate discussions and bring clarity to what truly defines success and value for the project, ensuring everyone is aligned on the desired outcomes. Clarifying success criteria early is paramount to delivering true value and avoiding misaligned expectations. Question 85. The project manager wants to foster a culture of continuous improvement within the team. Which specific PMBOK 7 tool or practice is best suited for regularly identifying areas for improvement and implementing corrective actions? A. Project Management Plan. B. Lessons Learned Register. C. Risk Register. D. Retrospectives or Lessons Learned Meetings. Answer: D. Retrospectives or Lessons Learned Meetings. Retrospectives, particularly in agile or regular lessons learned meetings, as often practiced in adaptive or hybrid environments, are specifically designed for continuous improvement. These structured sessions allow the team to reflect on recent work, identify what went well, what could be improved, and commit to actionable changes for the next iteration or phase. They provide a continuous feedback loop for process and team improvement. Continuous improvement thrives on regular reflection and commitment to change. Question 86. A project is experiencing delays due to team members being pulled onto urgent operational tasks by their functional managers. This disrupts project work and morale. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take? A. Document the delays and inform the project sponsor. B. Formally request that functional managers stop assigning operational tasks to project team members. C. Negotiate with functional managers and project sponsor to prioritize project work and allocate dedicated team time. D. Increase the project buffer to absorb these interruptions. Answer: C. Negotiate with functional managers and project sponsor to prioritize project work and allocate dedicated team time. The issue stems from conflicting priorities and resource allocation. The most effective approach is to engage in a collaborative dialogue with functional managers and the project sponsor. The project manager needs to highlight the impact of these interruptions on project delivery and negotiate for dedicated time or clear prioritization of project tasks over operational ones, ensuring the project receives the necessary focus and resources. Cross-functional negotiation and alignment are key to protecting your project's resources and timeline. Question 87. The project manager recognizes that the existing organizational culture is highly resistant to change, which poses a significant risk to the adoption of the project's new system. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain is most critical to address this challenge? A. Uncertainty performance domain. B. Stakeholder performance domain. C. Planning performance domain. D. Team performance domain. Answer: B. Stakeholder performance domain. The stakeholder performance domain focuses on engaging stakeholders effectively, understanding their needs, expectations, and levels of resistance or support. Organizational culture and resistance to change are primarily stakeholder-related issues that require proactive engagement, communication, and change management strategies aimed at influencing their acceptance and adoption of the project's outcomes. Addressing cultural resistance requires deep engagement with and understanding of your stakeholders. Question 88. A project has been running for several months, and the team is becoming fatigued, leading to a dip in productivity and quality. The project manager needs to boost team morale and energy. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant here? A. Planning principle. B. Leadership principle. C. Quality principle. D. Adaptability and resiliency principle. Answer: B. Leadership principle. The leadership principle focuses on guiding, motivating, and influencing the project team to achieve project objectives. Team fatigue and declining morale directly fall under the project manager's leadership responsibilities. A good leader would recognize these signs and implement strategies to re-energize the team, such as celebrating small wins, ensuring work-life balance, providing support, or adjusting workloads. Effective leadership is about supporting your team's well-being and maintaining their motivation throughout the project. Question 89. A project manager is consistently struggling to get timely approvals from key decision-makers, leading to project delays. The decision-makers are busy executives. What is the most effective approach to facilitate faster approvals? A. Email all decision-makers the full documentation and await their response. B. Schedule a dedicated meeting for all decision-makers to review and approve. C. Prepare concise summaries with clear recommendations, pre-brief key individuals, and follow up proactively. D. Escalate the lack of timely approvals to the project sponsor. Answer: C. Prepare concise summaries with clear recommendations, pre-brief key individuals, and follow up proactively. Busy executives often lack time to review extensive documentation. The most effective approach is to make it easy for them to make decisions. This involves providing concise summaries that highlight key points and recommendations, proactively engaging with them individually to address questions or concerns before a formal decision point, and diligently following up. This respects their time and streamlines the approval process. Make it easy for busy people to say yes by providing clear, concise information and proactive engagement. Question 90. The project manager has identified an opportunity that could significantly reduce future operational costs of the product, but it requires a small additional investment now. Which PMBOK 7 principle should guide the decision to pursue this opportunity? A. Risk principle. B. Value principle. C. Quality principle. D. Uncertainty principle. Answer: B. Value principle. The value principle focuses on continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered. The scenario presents an opportunity to incur a small upfront cost for a significant long-term benefit, reduced operational costs. This is a direct trade-off that should be evaluated based on the potential long-term value it brings to the organization. Projects should always strive to maximize the value delivered over the long term. Question 91. The project manager observes that the team is frequently redoing work due to requirements changing rapidly, even though formal change requests are being followed. The current predictive approach is proving inefficient. Which PMBOK 7 concept suggests a different approach? A. Scope baseline. B. Tailoring principle. C. Earned value management. D. Risk register. Answer: B. Tailoring principle. The tailoring principle recognizes that every project is unique, and project management approaches should be adapted to fit the specific context and characteristics of the project. When a predictive approach is inefficient due to rapid requirement changes, it indicates a mismatch between the chosen methodology and the project's environment. The tailoring principle would guide the project manager to consider a more adaptive or hybrid approach that can better accommodate frequent changes, thus reducing rework and improving efficiency. Always tailor your approach to fit the project's unique circumstances. Question 92. A project is facing significant external uncertainties, such as fluctuating raw material prices and geopolitical instability, which are beyond the project manager's direct control. What is the most appropriate PMBOK 7 approach to manage these? A. Ignore them, as they are uncontrollable external factors. B. Focus solely on internal project risks, as those are manageable. C. Monitor these external factors, assess their potential impact, and develop contingency plans. D. Escalate these factors to senior government officials for resolution. Answer: C. Monitor these external factors, assess their potential impact, and develop contingency plans. While external uncertainties may not be directly controllable, their potential impact on the project must still be managed. The PMBOK 7 Uncertainty Performance Domain emphasizes proactively identifying and addressing all types of uncertainties, including those from the external environment. This involves continuous monitoring, assessing their potential impact on project objectives, e.g., cost, schedule, and developing contingency plans or fallback strategies to respond if they materialize. Even uncontrollable factors require a thoughtful and proactive response. Question 93. The project manager is having difficulty getting key stakeholders to participate in review meetings and provide timely feedback, leading to delays in decision-making. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain needs focused attention to resolve this? A. Planning performance domain. B. Measurement performance domain. C. Stakeholder performance domain. D. Project work performance domain. Answer: C. Stakeholder performance domain. The stakeholder performance domain focuses on activities and functions associated with effectively engaging stakeholders throughout the project. The issue of low participation and delayed feedback directly points to a problem in how stakeholders are being engaged, their level of involvement, or the perceived value of their participation. The project manager needs to re-evaluate engagement strategies to foster better stakeholder involvement. Active stakeholder engagement is vital. If they're not participating, revisit your engagement strategy. Question 94. A project team is highly experienced and self-directed. The project manager often acts as a facilitator and coach, stepping in to remove obstacles rather than providing direct instructions. Which PMBOK 7 leadership style is this most aligned with? A. Authoritarian. B. Transactional. C. Servant leadership. D. Laissez-faire. Answer: C. Servant leadership. Servant leadership emphasizes serving the team's needs, enabling their autonomy, and removing impediments, rather than directing or controlling them. This style is particularly effective with experienced, self-directed teams as it fosters empowerment and supports their productivity by clearing their path. The project manager's role shifts from a traditional manager to a supportive enabler. A servant leader empowers their team by eliminating barriers and fostering growth. Question 95. A project is repeatedly failing to meet its financial targets despite being on schedule. The project manager needs to understand why the costs are escalating. Which PMBOK 7 artifact or process would provide the most crucial insight? A. Schedule baseline. B. Scope baseline. C. Earned value management, EVM, data analysis. D. Lessons learned register. Answer: C. Earned value management, EVM, data analysis. Earned value management, EVM, is a project management methodology used to measure project performance and progress in an objective manner, integrating scope, schedule, and cost. If a project is repeatedly failing financial targets, analyzing EVM data, specifically cost variance and cost performance index, would provide precise insights into where and why cost deviations are occurring, even if the schedule is on track. For deep financial performance insights, EVM is your most powerful tool. Question 96. The project manager is managing a project in a highly volatile market where customer preferences change frequently. To ensure the product remains relevant, the team needs to deliver small, usable increments frequently and gather feedback. Which PMBOK 7 life cycle is most appropriate? A. Predictive. B. Iterative. C. Incremental. D. Agile. Answer: D. Agile. An agile life cycle is designed for high volatility and rapidly changing requirements, emphasizing frequent delivery of working increments and continuous feedback loops. While incremental delivers usable portions, Agile specifically embraces changing customer preferences and continuously adapts the product to maximize value in dynamic environments. When your market is constantly shifting, an Agile approach provides the flexibility to remain relevant. Question 97. During a project retrospective, the team realizes that their initial estimates for certain complex tasks were consistently inaccurate, leading to schedule overruns. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant for improving future estimations? A. Quality principle. B. Complexity principle. C. Risk principle. D. Planning principle. Answer: D. Planning principle. The planning principle involves developing an organized and comprehensive approach to creating the project plans, which includes accurate estimation. Consistently inaccurate estimates point to a weakness in the planning process itself. By focusing on this principle, the project manager would guide the team to improve their estimation techniques, incorporate lessons learned from past inaccuracies, and refine their approach to planning future work for better predictability. Good planning is the foundation for accurate estimates and predictable project execution. Question 98. A critical component for the project is sourced from a single supplier who recently announced a potential strike, threatening project delays. The project manager needs to address this proactively. Which PMBOK 7 risk response strategy is best applied here? A. Accept the risk. B. Mitigate the risk by identifying an alternative supplier and contingency plans. C. Exploit the risk. D. Transfer the risk by placing full responsibility on the supplier. Answer: B. Mitigate the risk by identifying an alternative supplier and contingency plans. Mitigation is a proactive risk response strategy aimed at reducing the probability or impact of a negative risk event. In this scenario, the strike is a clear threat. Identifying an alternative supplier and developing contingency plans directly reduces the potential impact of the strike by providing a fallback, thus mitigating the risk of delay. Proactive mitigation is always preferable to passively accepting a high-impact risk. Question 99. The project manager discovers that the project team is highly skilled but often becomes bogged down in perfecting minor details rather than focusing on completing essential features, leading to delays. Which PMBOK 7 principle is being challenged? A. Quality principle. B. Value principle. C. Planning principle. D. Team principle. Answer: B. Value principle. The value principle focuses on continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered. While quality is important, perfecting minor details at the expense of completing essential features indicates a potential misdirection of effort away from delivering the most valuable outcomes. The project manager needs to guide the team to prioritize work based on its contribution to overall project value, ensuring effort is focused where it matters most. Focus on delivering the highest value, not just perfecting every detail. Question 100. A project manager is leading a large infrastructure project. Due to unforeseen geological issues, the foundation work is taking much longer and costing more than anticipated. How should the project manager transparently communicate this to stakeholders? A. Provide a high-level summary, minimizing the details of the problem. B. Present a detailed report outlining the issues, impact on schedule and budget, and proposed solutions. C. Announce that the project is significantly delayed and over budget, without further explanation. D. Only inform the project sponsor, asking them to handle broader communications. Answer: B. Present a detailed report outlining the issues, impact on schedule and budget, and proposed solutions. Transparent communication is crucial when facing significant project challenges. The project manager should provide a detailed, factual account of the unforeseen issues, clearly explain their impact on the project's key objectives, schedule and budget, and, importantly, outline the proposed solutions or mitigation plans. This approach demonstrates control, accountability, and builds trust with stakeholders. Always communicate project challenges with clarity, impact, and proposed solutions. Question 101. The project has a significant amount of rework after each integration testing phase because different modules don't seamlessly connect. This indicates a problem in which PMBOK 7 concept. A. Quality control. B. Risk management. C. Stakeholder engagement. D. System thinking. Answer: D. System thinking. The system thinking principle emphasizes viewing the project as a holistic system, understanding how its various components interact. If modules aren't connecting seamlessly, it suggests a lack of integrated planning and understanding of how individual parts fit into the larger system. This leads to integration issues and rework, which could have been mitigated by a more holistic, systems thinking approach from the outset. Always design and build with the whole system in mind to avoid costly integration problems. Question 102. A project manager is onboarding new team members to an ongoing project. To ensure they quickly become productive and understand the project's context, what is the most effective resource to provide them? A. A detailed timesheet template. B. The project's full change log history. C. The project charter and a clear overview of the project's objectives and current status. D. A list of all historical project risks. Answer: C. The project charter and a clear overview of the project's objectives and current status. To quickly integrate new team members, providing them with the project charter and a clear overview of the project's objectives, vision, and current status is paramount. This gives them the foundational understanding of what the project is trying to achieve and where it currently stands, enabling them to contextualize their work and become productive faster. A clear understanding of the project's purpose and progress is key for new team member onboarding. Question 103. Your project is in execution, and you discover that a newly implemented internal process for quality control is inadvertently slowing down development. The team is frustrated. Which PMBOK 7 principle suggests re-evaluating this process? A. Quality principle. B. Planning principle. C. Adaptability and resiliency principle. D. System thinking principle. Answer: C. Adaptability and resiliency principle. The adaptability and resiliency principle emphasizes the project's ability to respond to change and recover from setbacks, and also to learn and adapt its internal processes. If a new internal process, even one for quality, is causing delays and frustration, it suggests the project needs to adapt its approach to be more effective. This principle encourages continuous evaluation and adjustment of processes to optimize performance and maintain project flow. Be willing to adapt your processes if they're not serving the project's efficiency or team's well-being. Question 104. A project manager is leading a project where the team consistently exceeds expectations in terms of quality and innovation but struggles to deliver within the planned schedule and budget. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain is likely being overemphasized or mismanaged in relation to others? A. Delivery performance domain. B. Quality performance domain, implied by quality principle. C. Planning performance domain. D. Measurement performance domain. Answer: C. Planning performance domain. The planning performance domain focuses on organizing, developing, and coordinating project plans. While high quality and innovation are desirable, consistently missing schedule and budget targets suggests that the initial planning, including scope, schedule, and cost estimation, might be unrealistic, or that there's a disconnect in adhering to the plan during execution. The team's strength in quality and innovation needs to be balanced with realistic planning and execution to meet all project constraints. Effective planning helps balance quality, innovation, schedule, and budget constraints. Question 105. The project sponsor is constantly changing requirements, leading to significant rework and team frustration. The project manager needs to establish a more controlled approach to managing changes. Which PMBOK 7 artifact is most critical to facilitate this control? A. Stakeholder Register. B. Project Charter. C. Change Control Board, CCB, and Change Management Plan. D. Risk Register. Answer: C. Change Control Board, CCB, and Change Management Plan. To establish a more controlled approach to managing requirements changes, a formal Change Control Board, CCB, and a well-defined Change Management Plan are critical. The Change Management Plan outlines the process for proposing, evaluating, approving, and incorporating changes, while the CCB is the designated body that reviews and approves or rejects change requests, ensuring that changes are deliberate and their impacts understood. Formal change control is essential for managing scope creep and maintaining project stability. Question 106. A project manager is taking over a project where team members are highly dependent on the previous project manager for all decisions, hindering their autonomy. The new project manager wants to empower the team. Which PMBOK 7 principle should be prioritized? A. Stewardship Principle. B. Leadership Principle. C. Team Principle. D. Quality Principle. Answer: C. Team Principle. The team principle focuses on fostering a collaborative project team environment and empowering team members. When a team is overly dependent on the project manager, it hinders their autonomy and self-organization. The new project manager should prioritize fostering an environment where the team feels empowered to make decisions, take initiative, and collaborate effectively, aligning with the core tenets of building a high-performing team. Empowering your team fosters autonomy and increases their problem-solving capabilities. Question 107. The project manager needs to justify the project to potential investors, highlighting its long-term benefits and alignment with the organization's strategic goals. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most central to this justification? A. Complexity Principle. B. Value Principle. C. Uncertainty Principle. D. Planning Principle. Answer: B. Value Principle. The value principle focuses on continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered to stakeholders and the organization. When justifying a project to investors, the core argument revolves around the value it will create, its long-term benefits, strategic alignment, and return on investment. The project manager needs to articulate how the project will contribute to the organization's overall value proposition. Projects are ultimately undertaken to deliver value. That's your strongest selling point. Question 108. During project execution, the team identifies a potential new technological solution that could revolutionize the product, but it is unproven and would require a significant shift in the project roadmap. How should the project manager approach this situation? A. Reject the idea to maintain the current roadmap and avoid disruption. B. Immediately pivot the project to adopt the new technology. C. Facilitate a thorough analysis of the new technology's potential value, risks, and impact, then present options to key stakeholders. D. Assign a small subteam to secretly develop a prototype without impacting the main project. Answer: C. Facilitate a thorough analysis of the new technology's potential value, risks, and impact, then present options to key stakeholders. Revolutionary opportunities, especially those involving unproven technology, require careful consideration. The project manager's role is to facilitate a structured assessment, analyze the potential value, identify associated risks, estimate the impact on the existing roadmap, cost, schedule, scope, and then present these options transparently to key stakeholders, like the sponsor or product owner, for an informed decision. This balances innovation with responsible project management. New opportunities are exciting, but always evaluate their full impact before committing. Question 109. The project manager is finding it difficult to keep track of the project's overall progress due to its scale and the large number of interdependent tasks. Which PMBOK 7 artifact would provide the most helpful visual overview of the work and its dependencies? A. Risk Register. B. Stakeholder Register. C. Work Breakdown Structure, WBS, or Product Breakdown Structure, PBS. D. Lessons Learned Register. Answer: C. Work Breakdown Structure, WBS, or Product Breakdown Structure, PBS. A work breakdown structure, WBS, provides a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work to be carried out by the project team. Similarly, a product breakdown structure, PBS, focuses on the deliverable components. Both provide a visual, organized overview of the project's scope, breaking it down into manageable components and clarifying work packages and their relationships, which is essential for managing a large project with many interdependencies. A WBS or PBS is your roadmap for understanding and managing complex project scope. Question 110. A key project resource becomes unavailable due to an unexpected personal emergency. This will significantly impact a critical path activity. What is the most immediate project manager action, aligning with PMBOK 7 principles? A. Reassign the resource's tasks to other team members without consultation. B. Update the project's schedule and communicate the new deadline. C. Convene the team to assess the impact and identify potential solutions to mitigate the delay. D. Wait for the resource to return before making any decisions. Answer: C. Convene the team to assess the impact and identify potential solutions to mitigate the delay. When a critical resource becomes unavailable, the immediate and most effective action is to bring the issue to the team. The team, often self-organizing in modern project management, is best positioned to understand the intricacies of the impacted work, assess the true impact on the critical path, and collaboratively brainstorm viable solutions, such as task reprioritization, temporary reassignments, or seeking external support. Empowering the team to solve their own challenges is often the fastest and most effective path. Question 111. The project has successfully delivered its initial product, but there's ongoing confusion among operational staff about how to use and maintain the new system. This suggests a failure in which PMBOK 7 related concept. A. Quality management. B. Risk management. C. Benefits realization. D. Transition management. Answer: D. Transition management. Transition management, or organizational change management, is the process of ensuring a smooth handover of the project's deliverables to the operational or business units that will use and maintain them. Confusion among operational staff about using and maintaining the new system indicates a breakdown in this transition process, implying inadequate training, documentation, or communication during the handover. Successful projects don't just deliver, they ensure the recipient can effectively use and maintain the product. Question 112. A project manager is leading a project where the requirements are initially clear but become highly detailed and complex over time. The team needs to manage this complexity effectively to avoid scope creep and delays. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most relevant here? A. Value principle. B. Tailoring principle. C. Complexity principle. D. Uncertainty principle. Answer: C. Complexity principle. The complexity principle acknowledges that projects inherently possess varying degrees of complexity arising from human behavior, system interactions, and technological uncertainties. When requirements become highly detailed and intricate, it increases the project's inherent complexity. The project manager needs to apply this principle by adopting strategies to manage this complexity, such as breaking down work, using iterative approaches, or visualizing interconnectedness, to avoid becoming overwhelmed. Recognize and actively manage project complexity to keep it from spiraling out of control. Question 113. The project manager wants to ensure that project decisions are not only beneficial in the short term but also contribute to the long-term strategic objectives of the organization. Which PMBOK 7 principle is being applied? A. Quality principle. B. Value principle. C. System thinking principle. D. Leadership principle. Answer: B. Value principle. The value principle emphasizes continually evaluating and adjusting the project to maximize the benefits delivered to stakeholders and the organization. This inherently involves considering both short-term gains and long-term strategic objectives, ensuring that project decisions are always aligned with generating the highest possible value for the enterprise. Always frame your project decisions by asking, does this maximize the long-term value for the organization? Question 114. A project manager is developing a communication plan for a project with highly diverse stakeholders, including technical experts, senior executives, and external regulators. What is the most important consideration for tailoring the communication approach? A. Use only formal, written communications to ensure accuracy. B. Standardize all communication to ensure consistency. C. Adapt the message, format, and frequency to the specific needs and preferences of each stakeholder group. D. Limit communication to only the project sponsor to reduce overhead. Answer: C. Adapt the message, format, and frequency to the specific needs and preferences of each stakeholder group. Effective communication is tailored. Different stakeholder groups have varying needs for information, preferred formats, e.g., detailed technical reports versus executive summaries, and desired frequencies. A project manager must understand these diverse needs and adapt the communication approach accordingly to ensure messages are received, understood, and acted upon effectively. One-size-fits-all communication rarely works. Tailor your messages to your audience. Question 115. The project team is struggling to integrate their work with another department's system, leading to compatibility issues and delays. The project manager needs to facilitate better collaboration between the two groups. Which PMBOK 7 concept is most relevant here? A. Risk management. B. Stakeholder engagement. C. Quality control. D. Schedule management. Answer: B. Stakeholder engagement. While this could involve technical issues and quality control, the core problem is a lack of effective collaboration and integration between two distinct groups, the project team and another department. Effective stakeholder engagement involves proactively working with all parties who can influence or be affected by the project, including other departments, to ensure alignment, resolve conflicts, and foster seamless integration. Addressing collaboration between different groups fundamentally falls under managing stakeholder relationships. Question 116. A project manager observes that the team is overconfident, leading to underestimation of tasks and ignoring potential negative outcomes. This behavior is putting the project at risk. Which PMBOK 7 principle is being insufficiently applied? A. Team principle. B. Planning principle. C. Uncertainty principle. D. Leadership principle. Answer: C. Uncertainty principle. The uncertainty principle focuses on acknowledging and addressing the inherent uncertainties in a project, which includes being realistic about potential risks and opportunities. Overconfidence and underestimation indicate a failure to properly recognize and account for uncertainties. The project manager needs to guide the team to adopt a more objective and comprehensive approach to identifying and managing risks, fostering a realistic outlook on potential challenges. Don't let overconfidence blind you to potential risks. Embrace uncertainty and plan for it. Question 117. Your project involves highly sensitive customer data, and ensuring its security is paramount, with zero tolerance for breaches. Which PMBOK 7 principle is most critical in guiding all project activities? A. Value principle. B. Quality principle. C. Stewardship principle. D. Adaptability and resiliency principle. Answer: C. Stewardship principle. The stewardship principle emphasizes acting responsibly and ethically with the resources and trust provided to the project manager and team. When dealing with highly sensitive customer data, ensuring its security with zero tolerance for breaches is a prime example of ethical and responsible conduct. This principle guides the project manager to prioritize the protection of sensitive information and uphold the highest standards of data integrity and privacy throughout all project activities. Being a good steward means protecting what's entrusted to you, especially sensitive data. Question 118. A project has just received approval to proceed. The project manager's next step is to break down the high-level scope into more manageable components and activities. Which PMBOK 7 performance domain is the project manager primarily focusing on? A. Project work performance domain. B. Planning performance domain. C. Delivery performance domain. D. Measurement performance domain. Answer: B. Planning performance domain. The planning performance domain focuses on organizing, developing, and coordinating project plans. Breaking down high-level scope into detailed components and activities is a core activity within the planning process, enabling the creation of a realistic schedule, budget, and resource plan. This systematic decomposition is fundamental to effective project planning. Thorough planning is the bedrock upon which successful project execution is built. Question 119. The project manager is trying to foster a culture where team members feel empowered to identify and resolve issues independently, rather than waiting for direction. Which PMBOK 7 principle is the project manager trying to instill? A. Leadership principle. B. Team principle. C. Adaptability and resiliency principle. D. Quality principle. Answer: B. Team principle. The team principle emphasizes fostering a collaborative project team environment that empowers members to contribute, innovate, and work effectively together. Empowering team members to identify and resolve issues independently directly aligns with building a self-organizing and high-performing team. This principle helps create a sense of ownership and accountability within the team. Empowering your team fosters ownership and improves their ability to tackle challenges independently. Question 120. A project is nearing its scheduled completion, but unforeseen technical challenges have emerged, indicating the project will likely overrun its budget. The project manager needs to present realistic options to the project sponsor. Which PMBOK 7 measurement metric would be most helpful in forecasting the new expected total cost? A. Schedule Performance Index, SPI. B. Cost Performance Index, CPI. C. Estimate at Completion, EAC. D. Earned Value, EV. Answer: C. Estimate at Completion, EAC. The estimate at completion, EAC, is a forecast of the total cost of the project once all remaining work is completed. When a project is likely to overrun its budget due to unforeseen challenges, calculating and presenting the EAC provides the most realistic current forecast of the total project cost to the sponsor, allowing for informed financial decisions. EAC provides the crystal ball view for your project's final cost, essential for transparent financial discussions.